Hey everyone, it's Brandon here again for another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about some plans that I have for my YouTube channel, also just what I've been working on in life, and of course, as always, probably some spiritual implications of what all that has been about. What all I've been up to, how has that affected my spiritual path. And yeah, we'll kind of go over that stuff, maybe even talk about mental health very briefly, just to let you know how that's going for me. But yeah, I guess let's get into it. So, I haven't made a video on here in probably like 3 months or so. And I do miss making YouTube videos. And maybe you guys have noticed if you've watched my videos before, um, I have a new mic. I'm in a different recording location than I think I've really used before. I think I've used it occasionally. Uh, Maybe this room for like one or two videos, I would think at most. But other than that, I'm putting this is a new recording place for me in my house, and obviously I got the new mic. I have the headphones on right now because this is actually the first full-length video I'll make with this mic. So I'm also kind of testing the audio and using it as just feedback for right now. Like now I'm noticing this desk I'm on has a little bit of give to it and it makes some extra noise. So this is just stuff that I'm going to be working on. I mean, ideally, I'd really like to put a lot of time towards YouTube. I'd like to be able to do it to a better degree than I've ever done it before. But one of the issues with that is that it does take time, it does take energy. And one issue for me is that there have been times where I've uploaded consistently, tried to improve my content over time, but none of those times I really anything took off to a level that would change my life in some way to where I could focus more time on this endeavor. And after doing YouTube for years and years and it not becoming some dream scenario, doing it over these years, I have learned a lot about how to make videos. I've just never really sat down and consistently put out the best quality that I possibly could. And that's something I really would be excited to have the opportunity to do. And one of the ways I'm trying to set up for that to happen is to make more money at what I'm doing right now, whether that be my job, my real estate investing business, like invest more money or scale the business up so it makes more money. Or I'm even thinking about doing possibly like some type of side hustle on top of full-time work and owning a business or being a co-owner of a business. So not all the work's on my shoulders, but it's still a responsibility. It's still an obligation that I have. So I'm focusing on these things, and I'm considering even getting another side hustle like real estate photography, because that's something I've done before for a while. I used to do it for a property management company I worked for. And I'm just thinking, I'm brainstorming of ways to make more money. But honestly, I had life coaching last year. It started out as YouTube coaching. It was with this guy. He's got quite a few subscribers on YouTube. His name is Captain Sinbad on YouTube. But anyway, so he has like 600K subscribers, I think now, and he was doing a YouTube coaching. It was somewhat pricey, but I tried it out, and one of the things that I noticed was I don't have enough time to put towards YouTube to do it the perfectionist sort of way I would like to. And YouTube hasn't yet given me the results that I would need it to for me to continue to put more and more time into it. So this is the kind of conundrum I'm in, because for years I've always thought it would be awesome if I could manage to do YouTube for a living. And really, I don't know if there are many people who would have a better situation to turn it into a living than I would. I think I have a lot of things in place. I have so much of the equipment you'd need. I have somewhat decent experience with editing, at least to make like a quality, especially like a video like this. If I really wanted to go all out with it, I'm not going all out with this one just because I'm in the process of building back into this. I'm probably just going to upload it straight from my phone with minimal editing. I'm not going to like tweak the sound to try to make it better or anything. Part of it is I want to create a studio for myself to make YouTube videos. I want to put it all in one room, all in one space. I ideally want to upgrade to a better computer because I need that anyway. Right now in my life, there would be a decent use for having a better desktop, and then my laptop can stay where it's at. But I would like to get some better kind of infrastructure behind how I make videos. So having a better computer for it, having one that is just set up, it's a desktop, it's all ready to go. If I wanted to edit videos, it's just going to be more efficient, it's going to be faster, it's going to be a smoother process if I'm doing it on there rather than on a laptop that's several years old and the memory is almost full and I'd have to sort out a bunch of things or remove a bunch of stuff. I've tried to clear memory on that. I only have a terabyte total on that laptop, and it's not enough. And one of the reasons it's not enough is because I still have a bunch of old video footage that comes from that. So yeah, I mean, these are just a few examples. So setting up a new room in my house, sort of, low to mid-grade, like designing a room, how I want it to look, what kind of, even maybe a little bit of background or decorations it could have for videos or different lightings. Like some of the YouTubers, they have like some different colored lights in the shot, and it just gives a cool atmosphere. Like there's a lot of things that I'd like to do with this. But one of the issues, like I was saying, is that I've never done YouTube at a high enough quality on a formula that was working for the algorithm. I've never stuck in that spot and just produced for very long, consistently, like really high quality stuff. That's what I want to do. I want to just take the production quality up. That comes to the video. Like I could use a better camera to record this right now, but for the sake of time, I've used my phone in this moment. But like there's a lot of room I have to improve things. I'm sure I could buy cheap lighting and just keep scaling the production up. That's something I want to do. If I want to continue with YouTube, which I do, over time, as I'm creating videos, I want to scale my production up. The quality of it, just in the very black and white aspects of it. The audio quality, the video quality, and then after that is solved, I want to probably start adding in editing, adding in other clips, all kinds of stuff like this. And that's the plan. There's so much room to grow, and there are so many different topics I could make videos on. I'm pretty sure at this point I probably have hundreds of video topics in various notes on like my iPhone and on OneNote and in other places, even notebooks. I've thought about this stuff for a long time, and I really would like to put more effort toward it. So like ideas I've even thought of are like possibly offering some type of service to you guys. Anyone who watches my videos, enjoys them, gets value out of them. If there's something that I can offer that would be worth any sort of money to you, that would kind of work in the favor of this plan that I'm trying to do, so I can have more time freed up so I can do more YouTube videos. But in the beginning, it's just going to be like every other time I've tried to start YouTube, unless I just quit my job today or something. It's going, which I don't think is the best financial decision for me at the moment. Or, if I had the full freedom and it didn't seem like too big of a thing to just, not work for like a year straight and just do YouTube, if I had it set up like that, where that was good to go today, I mean, would I do it? I probably would be pretty intrigued by that idea and probably would follow through with it. But now I need to set up some things with my finances to support that better. And part of a way to come to that solution of having finances that support the action of me doing YouTube videos more frequently would be to make money somehow through YouTube. And I part of the story when I said I was getting YouTube coaching with that larger YouTuber, his coaching actually seemed quite good to me, but I was just so bogged down by my job, business, friends, family, exercising. I was huge into working out at that time. I was already getting, I had a personal trainer, like coach, actually, it's Frank Yang, uh, trained me on, he created a whole program for me to follow, what lifts to do, how often to do them, what macros to eat, how many protein, carb, fats, how many calories this week, how much cardio this week. He basically guided me during all of that. So that was probably taking up at least 3 hours a day minimum. Like really, it was probably more like 5 or 6 all in, possibly even more, that I was putting towards fitness every single day. Like, well, not every, but 5 days a week. And, a lot of the time that would really be more like 6 days a week because I'd be doing cardio on like the off days. So I'd maybe have like 1 day fully off of fitness stuff, at least the exercise portion of it. But then the nutrition I would always have to worry about. I would always have to be tracking macros. And just like how the fitness stuff went, I went all into it, and I was really technical and precise and really gave it my all for a period of time. And, I was really perfectionist, though. And that's kind of how I naturally like to do things when I do things, is like if I really want to get into an endeavor, I'd like to do it well. And I feel like I've never really done that fully with YouTube yet. And I don't like that. I want to move in that direction. Actually, the main reason why I started my real estate investing company was so that I would have enough passive income coming in each month from the business that I would be able to basically run the business whatever time it took, and then just make YouTube videos with all the free time from the passive income. So, and it's kind of worked. Like, I do pay myself a bit of money, a decent chunk of money, a decent chunk of how much money I make each month comes from that business that I started. But I like to reinvest in the business. I don't like to take money out. So unless it's at a much like more substantial place, I don't want to just pay all my bills with it or something. That's not sustainable. That's not going to grow it better for the future. So I need to come up with a way to make more money so I have more freedom, essentially. I'm trying to buy time right now. I'm trying to get enough money kind of working in the proper ways for me that I have more time and energy to put towards this. But yeah, like I said a bit ago, it's probably going to be a grind at the start. Just like every other time I've tried to get things going on YouTube, and gave a big push for a time. Hopefully this time will be more consistent for longer and see better results. But every time it's happened, it always comes with a grind. It always comes with, okay, Brandon, you have all these other obligations that you have to do. You can cut out some of them. You can't cut out all of them. And your schedule's already pretty fucking full the way I set it up. In a way, like I really do use much of my time, even if it's for relaxation or something. Like I'm really like milking it for everything it's worth in a way. So, I guess I like to live with a bit of vitality when I do things. And even that can come to a time when you're resting. I just took a vacation in Las Vegas for a week. I stayed with some family. I have a few family members, close family members who live there. And I didn't do anything too crazy or Vegas-like, really. But I did enjoy a nice vacation. And like during that time, I just kind of went all in on vacation, all in on relaxation. I've worked pretty hard this past year with all the stuff I've been doing. and as well as just like my job career aspect of things. Worked pretty hard at that, and so I took that time off to enjoy that. And there's time I can use for YouTube, even if I keep a full-time job, keep the same like business responsibilities, see my family the same amount of time, see friends the same amount of time, all that same stuff, or but there's something you're gonna have to give when you want to put time towards one thing. Obviously, you're gonna have to give something to get that time for whatever new endeavor you're trying to go on. So yeah, when I was talking about services I could possibly offer to you guys, I mean, I'm not trying to pressure you into buying something. This is one reason why I've never really charged for anything on my YouTube ever, is because I want to keep what I do here authentic, and I want it to be something that I enjoy doing, something that I like, and it's it just felt wrong before to try to charge, but now for anything on YouTube, basically, it felt kind of wrong. But now I'm realizing it's almost a necessity in a way if I want to level the YouTube up to where people would like it even more. Maybe people would like it way more than they do now, or way more people would like it way more than they do now. I feel like there's more in the world I could do to really change things or help things for people. There's more value I could provide with YouTube at the end of the day. I think it could scale up to a higher value than like the other things I do right now. That's why I want to start to focus more in this direction. Because I want to create value, one, because of course, creating a lot of value in really any endeavor or any sphere of human influence that you want to create value in. If you create value in that area, it's going to be good for other people. So like I want to eventually find something for myself where I'm creating enough value to where it allows me to be in a state of abundance so that I can create even more value. Like it's kind of an interesting concept, but it's not really that foreign of a concept if you look into such things. I mean, wealth creation, even some people, when they talk about spirituality, they're going to talk about abundance. Now, the thing is, you can be in an abundant mental state, and that's one thing. And that's one thing I've pretty much got down at the moment. Like, being in an abundant mental state, at least to a pretty high degree, I imagine, compared to a lot of people, like, there's not that much that really throws me off base anymore. There's not really any challenges that come that I can't handle, so to speak. At least emotionally, like, or experientially, I'm not like freaking out at really anything that's coming at me lately. And hopefully things continue that way, and I can keep making some good forward progress in what I'm doing. But so that's kind of a spiel about a lot of different things. But yes, I do want to make money online if possible. And it feels kind of weird. It feels kind of selfish to say that, but ultimately it's like, if you level up your own life, that means you can literally give more to other people. You can literally provide more to the rest of the world. That's usually where you see people who start to get results, unless they're doing it in some really crooked way, shady way, corrupting way. Unless they're doing something like that, if it's an honest way of providing value to people, the more you provide, yes, the more you might get rewarded, but really, probably the bulk of what's happening there is you're giving stuff out to other people. Hopefully, that's how I would want it to be. I would want to give more value than I'm really receiving in return. Of course, I'd like to get enough, value, money, so to speak, back, or that reward, so I can live comfortably, not have to worry about, food or, my mortgage or that kind of normal stuff. I'd like to be able to have more peace of mind financially, of course, too. So, I mean, there's just a lot of reasons why I want to move in this direction, but there's going to be a lot of work that it's going to require. if I want this to end up looking in reality anything like what I can imagine it can become realistically, I feel like I can imagine it becoming pretty realistically something that's quite awesome, that really works for people. You know, I talked about being pretty much mentally quite stable, almost like a rock there. Um, is really one way you could say it. That's how it's felt for pretty much the past over a year, and I'm not on any medication for my bipolar disorder. I literally don't use any medication anymore. I found out that using medication that then makes you sad and low energy and lose your zest for life. Taking medication that does that, and then taking psychedelics that take your feelings and your life in the opposite direction to an extreme degree. That also isn't necessarily the best for me. At least now, because I've finally broken through, probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, broke through to a new sort of permanent new level, or like permanent new rock bottom or baseline of where my experience, where my consciousness would be. And it really changed everything. Like, I used to be on probably over a half, well, I know for a fact, over a half dozen various medications. So one would be like an antipsychotic, maybe two antipsychotics, and then like an antidepressant, and then like a mood stabilizer, maybe an ADHD medication, all these other things. It like literally I would be taking 6 or 7 pills probably at the height of it. And we're not talking light pills. Like sometimes this would be like Haldol, quite strong drugs. Like the type of stuff you inject it in someone who is either psychotic out of their mind, on meth or something, like tripping out to the max. You shove this in them, it's gonna calm them down, to say the least. But like, yeah, I was on a lot of intense medications that were basically all there to mostly try to bring my state down, try to bring me to a more normal place than an elevated place where I felt amazing. Because too much of a good thing can eventually no longer be a good thing. I think everybody knows that in some area of life. You've probably seen that work. For me, having, or at least being diagnosed probably pretty damn accurately with bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features, being diagnosed with that, and then also playing around with the psychedelics, also doing all the meditation, all that created a sort of really probably quite rare and strange environment for like experientially, as well as like in the brain, in the personality. When you combine those few things, and essentially, yeah, some other things too, like other forms of spirituality or learning or whatever, but you combine like having bipolar disorder type 1 with psychotic features with taking high doses of psychedelics like 10 tabs of LSD, I believe 160x salvia, ayahuasca, all these other things. I was taking all of these other substances, not prescribed medication, in the times after taking the medication would bring me down to basically a near suicidal point, feeling completely immersed and just stuck in suffering. Everything felt hopeless. Everything was horrible for a long time. And then, I basically used like psychedelics and spirituality which, I mean, spirituality in the East has always had an element of liberation, freedom from suffering, stuff like that. And for someone who's actually deep in suffering, I think probably the best move they could ever do in life, if they were in really deep suffering, would be to experientially change that for yourself, to change that situation. You literally are in crazy suffering, horrible suffering all the time. If you have a really bad case of suffering, is what I'm saying, you should fucking awaken. You should, I mean, I'm not going to recommend it, honestly. But I'm saying if you're a real edge case of someone who is really in a bad place, you can do the medication stuff, or you could do the normal solutions that everyone else does for these types of conditions and get the normal kind of results. Or you could go the hard but worthwhile road of developing your mind's capabilities to the point where you can override or overcome or mostly erase that suffering, disrupt the entire pattern of suffering in your life. That's a huge thing. For you to be able to disrupt the pattern of suffering in your life in a permanent way, like to a point where something changes, and then even if you didn't do anything else, it would still be better than it used to be. That's huge. That's huge for people who are actually in deep suffering. If you can change that, it would be pretty much the most worthwhile thing you could do. I mean, maybe like saving your mom from falling off a cliff would be possibly like more important, if you want to say, or I'm sure we can talk about other things that are worthwhile, but I would say that should be at the top of your list. If you're suffering a lot, stop fucking suffering. You can change that. I believe in you. I totally believe in you. I have no doubt. As a human being, if you have anywhere near normal human faculties, I think you can drastically change your relationship to suffering in life, if you really want to. If that's what you want to accomplish with life, if that's one of the big things, you can do it. But it takes a lot of time. And maybe I was lucky in this process too. So that's another factor. Maybe you work really hard, you don't get quite the same results I did with this. Who knows? But I'm certain that putting work in this direction will be time spent well. So, I mean, yeah, like getting to the point where you don't need medications anymore and you're more stable off of medications and you don't need psychedelics anymore and you're more awake off of psychedelics, that's a cool place to be. So, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, this would be a good channel to tune into, possibly subscribe. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking about ways that I could possibly, provide value for people to where it would be totally worthwhile for them to pay some sort of money for that value created, I'm talking like one-on-one coaching. This could be coaching on spirituality, your life in general. It could be helping with mental fortitude, I would say, would be one way I could put that, where, I wouldn't have various legal agencies making their own ideas up about it. I'm not going to come on and make videos directly about, some mental illness. That's not what I want to do anymore. I made the bipolar videos before, but now I want to take a more broad brush stroke against suffering with the stuff that I make on here, or with that I teach people. I like if someone wants to know something or develop in a certain spiritual direction, I think an important one is to just teach people tools that work in pretty much all situations. It's not just because this person has this one illness, you can help them out in this one specific way. Sure, that's valuable. I mean, and if someone who had bipolar disorder, was into all this spiritual stuff, wanted to talk to me, get some advice on things, sure. But it can't be provided in a professional context unless it's in certain language, or if it's treated a certain way or packaged a certain way. So I can't come on here and say that I'm giving mental health advice, and I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to give professional medical advice in any sense. But I am a person who's been through multiple conditions like that, and for more or less overcame them, and they don't really affect me anywhere near like they used to. Pretty much almost not at all, in a way. Like it's really strange. This point that I've gotten to. I didn't really expect that I would go on this quest, this personal quest of spiritual development and personal development, and I would pretty much like get rid of the big worries of my bipolar disorder, like getting rid of the worry of just random mania. Like I think I've realized there is no thing as random mania. There's a cause to mania every time. Just like there's a cause to suffering. There's a cause to depression. There's also a cause to mania. There's also a cause to a balanced, awakened, happy, fulfilled state of consciousness. There are causes to that too. And we can basically manipulate the causes that we see. And now maybe reality doesn't work in some perfect black and white sort of causality way where you do one thing and it has some proven output. No, reality doesn't quite work like that, but there are a lot of conditions that work as partial causes for a lot of different things that you'll find for yourself in life. And it can be good things and bad things. A lot of life is just, okay, I have this problem. Let's look at what's causing this problem. Oh, there's this cause, this cause, this cause, at least that I can see. I can start fixing those. You fix all those, maybe the problem still isn't fixed. You try to find what the actual cause of the problem might be. And one of the beautiful things about like spiritual development is that you can come to a point where you realize that problems don't have to be problems. And that's a cool spot to be. At least to have it as an option to live. I mean, at the end of the day, I think we're always going to have activity as human beings. We're always going to want to move towards something. It's just our natural way of operating. So you're going to have various pulls in life to do one thing versus another. And one of the beautiful things I think you can realize for yourself is truly coming into that perfect flow with life. And that's just one more thing I could talk about. But this video is already 32 minutes long. And this is mainly just meant to serve as an update video and to let you guys know of what's coming in the future on this channel, and to let you guys know that I'm not forgetting about YouTube as a whole or something. I'm not leaving it behind. I took a bit of a hiatus and focused on other things. But now I want to come back at YouTube harder than I ever had before. And like an example, like I was saying, for coaching services and stuff, if you're interested in anything, if you think, I mean, we can literally start this. I mean, we can work out a deal if somebody even wants to do it and they give feedback as the payment. That's perfectly fine too. I'll literally talk to people for free on, some voice call, video call, even messaging, and give pointers if it's spiritual stuff you want help with. There's a lot of areas. Of course, I've lived my life to this point, 27 years old, and I feel like I've done pretty well with the cards I was given. I feel like I've put up a pretty decent fight, gotten some decent results that other people would probably be happy to see in their lives in multiple areas. So it could be business if you really wanted it to be. I mean, that's not my favorite thing to teach. I probably do have quite a bit of a talent in certain ways for it. I've definitely put in the time to learn a lot of things, but I also, at the end of the day, what I would like to help people with, what the problems I would like to help people solve would be more in their overall life fulfillment. And, there are spiritual approaches to that. And I've got, pretty much almost a decade of experience with that field. And I'm saying, I went very, very like one-dimensional almost at a time. Into the spiritual development phase. Like I went pretty hard at it for almost a decade now. For, it's probably at least almost edging on 9 years, maybe at 9 years, that I've pretty much been at that stuff, at developing more and more insightful and expanded and leveled up states of consciousness and understanding derived from such states of consciousness. I've been doing that for almost a decade, and I'd love to help other people do it too and do it more effectively. I mean, ideally, someone would come to me with a bit of a practice background, and maybe they're not fully satisfied with the results they've gotten with their spiritual practice thus far. So then they could come to me and they say, "Hey, Brandon, I've done all this meditation or whatever, or I've tried it, or I've started, or I tried this psychedelic, or I listened to this awakening teacher, or I was into this spiritual tradition for a period of time, or maybe a bunch of these different things." Someone would ideally come with some sort of practice background in some sense, and then they can tell me what they want, and I can help guide them to whatever they think will be best for them. Like, if someone is depressed, there's a lot of tips I could give to a depressed person. More than tips. I could give actionable steps that will more or less help break that state, and then show you that that state is not consistent, and then show that you have control over the state. Show what the best things could be for you to help get better control over the state. There's a lot of tools in so many different areas of life that you can use, and a lot of the times the tools are just an understanding. One understanding in the right subject for you, found at the right time, could change a lot of things. Sometimes it's just one small tweak. I remember I went to a Buddhist meditation teacher. I talked to him on a video calls over a period of time online. Some of you might have heard of him or heard me mention him in previous videos briefly. His name is Dhammarato. And one thing I remember is when I was coming to him asking about meditation, and seeing what advice he would have on becoming a better meditator, essentially, or getting the results of meditation or the results of Buddhism done well or done properly. I went to him seeking this stuff, and one of the funniest things was, I think it was the first or second call, I think it was the first call that I did with him, I didn't realize that over time, trying to get better and better meditation results, I had created an aversion to and a resistance to meditation and certain spiritual practice done in certain ways. I didn't want to close my eyes and do that, like sitting down, closed eye type meditation, and it felt too hard. It felt like other types were easier, like more in the flow, and they worked better. But I always felt like, okay, doing longer sits probably would be good. Or, just having that in your arsenal of things to do that aren't that challenging for you. I wanted to develop the ability to sit longer, or to enjoy meditation more naturally, you might say, in this way. And he just gave like pretty much like a one-liner type of response to solve that problem for me. It was basically just a changing of mindset, and then practicing with that new changed mindset, and then seeing that, okay, I can pretty much live life with this beneficial mindset instead of this negative one. And then meditation became a lot more fun. And it became a lot easier to, just really sit there and enjoy meditation if I'm going to do it. Like, whether it's closed eyes, sitting down or not. Like, I learned a lot, but like one of the most helpful things was just one single understanding that he said, that it's pretty common in people who come to spirituality and they're from the West, like I am, the US, they can get certain misunderstandings about different spiritual teachings, and maybe they're kind of subtle misunderstandings in a way, but they can end up having a big effect. And one of the ways is, like, some people in the West are going to they're gonna really push hard at meditation, and they're gonna think it's some type of like, like anything else in the West almost. Like it's a competition. You're trying to do better. You're trying to do your best. You're trying to be great at it. You're trying to put a bunch of effort into it. You're trying to get the results. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like type A personality type stuff. When you apply that type of mindset to meditation, it can you can create a resistance to it because you keep trying to push yourself to do something that was harder than the last time to get better results than last time. And that's not necessarily how meditation works. Meditation's almost in the opposite direction. You want to find a way that you fall in love with the meditation. If you don't fall in love with the meditation, it's going to be incredibly difficult to ever get very far with meditation. And the whole reason someone isn't in love with meditation is because they're not very good at it at the moment, and they're not doing it probably the best they could. And that's why it's so frustrating, because some people will go to meditation with this sort of Western mindset, with this sort of type A personality mindset. Like I would go at it in the past, and I would think, I really need to like put a solid effort into this so I can get better results, and that's how my spirituality is going to improve. And in a way, meditation kind of works almost in an opposite way, or it can. One way it can happen is that sometimes just taking it easy. I think that might have even been like the phrase that Dhammarato said to me in that talk. Was like basically take it easy. You're just relaxing. Be the chill master. Like just sit there and really relish that moment. Like, oh my goodness, it can be so amazing. Just closing the eyes, feeling the breath, feeling the body, feeling space, feeling awareness, feeling anything you can point to, name, think of, feeling all of them, all of it. You can really relish in that moment if you develop your ability to see the crazy profundity and amazing shit that is literally experientially you right now. It's ridiculous how cool it can be just if you see it in the correct way. Or at least it's the correct way. If the goal is to see it in that awesome way, then it'd be correct. But, it's just one way of seeing reality in a sense, but there are some ways of seeing reality that do kind of make an impression, and they do lead me at times to feel like it would be accurate to make a claim like, okay, these are like structural things that will go on to almost any experience, maybe any experience. I mean, there are some things that have led me to think that, and they've been pretty convincing. Some experiential practice type things, like practicing spirituality, coming to certain understandings and feeling, seeing, being it experientially. And then I'm like, ooh, that might be a structural element right there. Can't really verify it because I haven't experienced every experience ever and have memory right now to tell you the result of experiencing that, in a sense. So maybe that'd be like the surefire way of like making a claim about this. That can't really ever be done probably, but I think there are structural things, though, honestly. I think, for one, change kind of has to be there for experience to be there. Like, in any form that we know it, at the very least. There has to be change. Because even the awareness would have to change in some way or another to be able to give you the sort of feedback that experiences change. If there isn't any change, in my opinion, there isn't any experience. But that's just one thing. And, you can explore such things for yourself, maybe find such elements for yourself. And maybe my experience, most likely it probably works in a way that's a bit different than pretty much everyone else. We all can have, especially if you do enough spiritual work and, have the foundation set and put the years in, put the hours in, you can get to a place where maybe you literally have like a one-of-a-kind awareness. Like it is, as far as like the content of your awareness, the way that it's shaped and like structured and the feel of it, it could be different than pretty much anything else out there, any other experience out there, possibly. It's like the deeper you go in practice, the more sort of requirements will be there for you to, for someone or for some experience to be the same. It would have to have so many of these different conditions, most likely, to produce that experience. Now, of course, awareness, consciousness, experience, I use those words essentially interchangeably. But that thing, this thing right here, the real thing that you are right now, um, that can turn into anything at any moment. There doesn't have to necessarily be a cause, but the way that the interpreting human, or you might say jiva, or you might say ego, different words for this, like your personality, this character, this Brandon Rowe thing, like would be one example of one of these characters that like serves as a sort of avatar for experience, where it feels at some point in time, probably earlier on in life before you get deep into awakening, but at some point in time you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm this character thing. But there really is a point where you can experientially deeply see, in pretty much an irrevocable way, you could see that experience is just experience, and experience just does what experience does, and that just happens to be a cool show a lot of the time. So it's kind of like existentially, like kick your legs up, put your head back, lean back, and enjoy the frickin' ride, man. uh, that's what it can be a lot of the time. Maybe, I mean, if you got really, really good, I would say pretty much all the time you could be in just a miraculous state of consciousness. Completely breathtaking, unimaginable to 99.9% of humanity. A person could get to that potential, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying, why not you? Why not you? Isn't that where you'd want to be? Wouldn't you want to be in the best possible experience that you could be in? And it also be potentially a moral thing. You're not even doing anything bad. You're not, exploiting the planet to get this fulfillment. You're not, killing animals to get this fulfillment. You're not, hurting any people to get this fulfillment. You're literally just inwardly found the way to find fulfillment, to find beauty, to find divinity in experientially. I mean, this is what the sort of stuff I'm into is all about. And yeah, I'm looking forward. I mean, down the road, I would like to create a framework around the different spiritual awakenings and the different development steps that I've went through. I'd like to create a sort of almost new blank slate way of talking about a lot of these things. And I can relate it all to old terms from old traditions, or from current ones, or from both. But I would like to put this sort of awakening stuff in a almost like an ultra palatable language. And I mean ideologically palatable in a way. So it might not be that this would be the easiest way to understand awakening or the easiest way to get to it, but it might be like the most just, wow, we're really talking about the thing, and there's no filler. And there's no weird associations with words. There's no question of, oh, does this word mean this or that was written in this dead language, 2,500, 2,600 years ago. Like, we don't have to have those qualms if it's like, if a person can come to an understanding in the modern world, put a modern language on it that isn't attached to some belief system. Like, I don't want to be assimilated into some existing belief system. Eventually, I'd like to take what I've found in my spiritual path and put it in a language and teaching that is sort of all on its own. It is just about experience and how it works, how it can get better, what it is, what it does. That's what I want it to be about. And yeah, there's already a lot of existing stuff that goes in that direction, but I think there could be some type of new spin in a way. where you spin all the old threads together to make a new sort of fabric. That's what I'd like to do. That's what I like to do. I'd like to put up my own new fabric. It's like a new pathway. You want to have a cool experience that some people would call spiritual or whatever. I'd even want to get away from the idea that this is spiritual. I'd want to get away from the idea that of all these ideas. I'd want to just, that would be the ideal thing for me, like down the road, would be to like teach the purity of what experience is, what it can do, how it improves, and how one ego or one jiva or one personality or one human, how that thing could see experience transform itself into a much more beautiful, amazing version than what was there before. And the person reaps the rewards of that, and all the people and everything around them also reaps the rewards of that, because they find a level of inner fulfillment and peace and tranquility that allows them to be a good person or a better person in some ways or another. You would hope that's I think ideally, if spiritual practice goes in the right direction, you should naturally become a more abundant and just generous, happy person. I think that's the typical way it should go if you're succeeding. So, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'd love to promote one day. And it's like maybe this is gonna be a years long process, years and years to get to like some sort of end vision. Like maybe I was talking about there for a moment. I mean, maybe I could create a short version of that pretty quickly and easily, pretty soon. But to really hone it into the level I'd like to, it's probably going to take some years. So, I mean, I've always kind of looked at YouTube as like, okay, I'm not that worried that I'm sitting at this or that result right now, or this or that level right now, because I'm kind of looking at it as like a long, long marathon. And I'm just putting in the time, the hours, the content, the best I can with how life comes and what I end up doing. So now I'm really seeing, and while making this video right now on the spot, just on the fly, I'm really feeling like this is feeling good. This is feeling like a great direction and a great thing to do. Not only that, it's just how fun it was just to record this right now. There's something about it. I just like recording. Damn, it sounds hilarious. It sounds kind of fucked, but I love recording myself talk about this kind of shit. Like, I like listening to it. I like seeing it come out. Like, I've talked before in previous videos how like the sort of flow and like will-less action and non-self like way that I experience life now. It's like I'm getting to watch myself create this video, create all the ideas for it. Like it's just spawning in itself, and I as it get to be it, and it's a fun process. I just like recording this video. It was fun. It was cool, and it's like, dang, maybe I could spend more time doing that and end up helping people out more or having a bigger positive impact in life than what my main job is right now, like being a restaurant manager. It's like, can you provide value as a restaurant manager? Sure you can. Is it necessarily like the easiest job? No, it's not. It's actually kind of challenging and rewarding. But yeah, I think there's other stuff in life for me that I can help the world more in. And but yeah, it takes work, it takes development, and it takes either finding and assimilating into or creating some type of infrastructure for you to be able to live off of whatever you decide to do. So yeah, like one example is I could pick a different job that felt more meaningful, and I go assimilate into an existing infrastructure, an existing business, an existing sort of, what is it, like sector of the economy, you might say, or type of business. Like you're kind of, when you go give yourself in that way, you end up, because of the assimilation that you're doing, you're giving up many things to do that. And one of them might be authenticity, or your authentic path, or what would really be best for you is sometimes the deals that you might get in a certain job, just the overall aspect of what comes along with that job might not be a good fit, and it might just cost more than it's worth in a way. And so that's one of the problems about finding a good job, is a lot of jobs are going to end up taking more than they give, or you're going to sacrifice in ways that you really don't want to sacrifice in life. um so that's another reason why, like, going more into YouTube now is feeling like probably the move. Like, this is probably what needs to happen, because if I don't do this, for one, I think there's a not even I think, like, I know for a fact there's value that people will be missing because I didn't make videos. It sounds kind of weird to say that, but just realistically, over the years, a lot of people have said that the videos have helped in some way or another. Some people in pretty extreme sounding ways. Some people even saying it like saved their lives, but I mean, I don't know how realistic that is when someone says that online, but the point is, like, I know the videos have helped in the past, and it's like, if I made better quality videos about more helpful, more valuable things that I'm more experienced about now, I mean, how is that not going to create value for someone? It will in some way or another. Even if it gets 50 views, still creates value. So it's like, I could get no monetary benefit. I could get no sort of like recognition in any huge way from doing all the YouTube videos. Even if I did them like right now, just kept doing videos, chugging along, never made money with it, whatever. And I just had a relatively small audience compared to a lot of other people, but still, it touches a lot of people. Um, if you look at the amount of time, of a person's time, of a person's mind that you get by making videos online, even if you're unsuccessful, you're like, in a lot of ways, you might be exponentially more impactful than someone who lived 100 years ago who was decently influential. Like, you could be a small time content creator and affect many people. And the thing is, I want to affect people in a positive way. I want to help arm people with some positive tools that will help them in their lives. That's kind of always what my YouTube thing has been about. Well, ever since I started videos like this, where I make them like real life, in person video type thing. I did make video game YouTube videos, like about me playing video games before I ever made these type videos, like 8 or 9 years ago when I started that stuff. But like, ever since I started this style of video, I I did it because I wanted to go on a path that would lead me to live the best life I possibly could. And then once I got to that point where I have lived a life worth living, and I have figured many things out of how to make life worth living, or how to find life as being worth living and being amazing. I wanted to improve life, basically, was the first thing. Improve my life. And then from that point, after doing the work and having the wisdom of going through the process to fix things and improve things, I wanted to take that process and give it to other people. That was always what I wanted to do. You can find, it's an old video, I think probably like 8 years ago now, still on my channel. You guys could look it up. I think it was like my life purpose or something like that. It was titled something like that. And I basically said that in that video like 8 years ago. But that's always kind of been the idea. But it's still going to create value for people. Even if YouTube didn't take off for me, doesn't turn into some financial thing or some type of career where I can do it all the time, make people happy, help them out in their lives, and it's just an all-around good thing. Like, maybe that won't happen. But if it doesn't happen, YouTube can still be a good thing for me to do. I've met a lot of friends and people who are interested in similar things from this YouTube channel, and it's been a great asset in that way. And, it's just an activity that I've liked. I've authentically enjoyed YouTube ever since I started. The only times I stop doing videos is when I stop enjoying the process for long enough, or the way that I'm trying to do it isn't working in the way that I'd like it to. It's like if I created videos in a certain style and I really wanted to get more improve my analytics, you might say, get more views, get more likes, get more subs, all that stuff. There were times where I would focus on that really heavily, and probably not even as heavily as many YouTubers have done, but like I was focused on that instead of just the content itself, instead of just the process itself. Like I like making fucking videos, man. Like it's fun, and like that's it. Like I just like making videos, so I should make videos. That's what I'm realizing, is I should make some fucking videos. Why? Because I like videos. Why? Because other people sometimes like my videos too. And it's like, fuck, that kind of works. It kind of works. It's a deal. Oh shit, let's do it. I mean, that's what I'm realizing. So it's cool. It's cool. The audio has sounded pretty good, and honestly, I'm kind of addicted to hearing it in like this form because it sounds so much better than just like the normal acoustics of a room. And you even hear your own voice a bit like off, I guess. Just when you're hearing it through your own ears, like it comes in different than your voice actually sounds. So I don't know, it's cool. I mean, I could do some weird ASMR content with this thing if I really wanted to. It's hilarious. I mean, this mic, I'm really satisfied with it. It is a Shure, I'm pretty sure M7B. So I actually I can hook this right into my iPhone, download their app, and record straight on there. It's one of the microphones that has the different connection, like the sort of high level production type connection. I forget the name for it because I've not even used it yet. That is another step, is like I could get better quality basically by going through this hole instead of this hole. But this hole is still way better than any other audio I've had on my YouTube channel by far. This mic was like $250. That's less than I've spent on mics in total, and every other mic I've ever bought, in my opinion, was not worth it. This mic was totally fucking worth it. So, I'm not going to get some like sponsorship from Shure. They're a pretty well-known company. I'm sure they don't need my help, but I do recommend, if you're a content creator, or if you have any purpose that you need a good mic, this is one that works. It's like $250, and for the quality, it's totally worth it. I would say buy a good mic the first time. Fuck all the shitty mics. Don't buy them. Do not buy a shitty mic. Never buy a shitty mic in your life. That's it. That's life advice I would give to someone if they want to be a content creator. Basically, you can use your new smartphone. Get a new smartphone. Get a fucking one of the smartphones on payments. You can literally get, at least in the US, a lot of different carriers, you can get a top of the line phone with pretty much I don't even think it's a real credit check. I don't even think they really treat the credit like that big of a deal with it. Like they'll just give you a loan that you pay back, like in your bill, you'll pay back like $30, $25 or something a month to basically buy the phone over time, over months and months. But you can get a brand new phone and pretty much pay nothing out of pocket for it, if with certain deals and promotions. I got this phone for free. I could use the audio on this phone if I really wanted, and if I had the room set up right, if I had the background noise kind of like I had doors shut and everything was set up right, it could sound passable. It's not going to sound great. It's just not going to sound great. Now, if you put it right next to your lips, It could sound good. It could, but it's most likely not going to sound as good as something like this. And this that I'm using right now, this is the first video I've ever used it for. So the thing is, the audio quality on this can get probably way, way better than it is now. As far as background noise, I can hear with these headphones on just a slight little background noise in the pauses, and sometimes like the heat came on. Maybe you guys did or didn't notice that little background noise, but like this stuff could be reduced. One thing is just like editing in like post-production type stuff for the video. You can reduce the background noise. But also, like, yeah, there's the more like professional way to hook up this particular mic. One of the reasons I like it is what I was going to show is, so this has it has a way that I can plug in right to an iPhone, but then I also can plug into like the full studio quality and like mixer or whatever type setup. I'm not a huge like audio nerd, so I don't know all the terms and everything for it. And I just realized, having this mic turned to the side was fucking horrible, dude. I gotta have the mic turned straight towards me. So yeah, just right there. Already in the process of making this first video, I found out another tip, another little incremental improvement. Getting this set up for the videos, I think, was an incremental improvement. Getting the mic, an incremental improvement. And that's just kind of what I'm working on in life right now, is I'm trying to incrementally improve in areas that will make a difference, that are worth doing. And I'm trying to use my time fairly wisely, most of the time, where I can manage. And yeah, I think YouTube is one of the ways that I can really do that. So this video was totally like just pure blog, spew everything out type of video content, but I hope you guys liked it. But yeah, real quick, if anyone's here at the last minute, I will say I did talk a little bit earlier in the video, actually a decent bit, about how I would like to create some way of monetizing all of this stuff that I do on YouTube, and maybe creating more services online for people. I want it to be something that's worth it to people, though. So here are like some options that I've thought of that I could offer if people are interested. So if you're at this point in the video, you watch the whole video, please let me know in the comments if there's any of these that you'd be interested in. So one is I do have some videos about fitness stuff, very, very little. I could put up like the pictures where I was looking the best, and maybe in another video, maybe in the future, you'll get some advertisements for like the type of stuff I could train someone to get, like physique results. I really went hard into that. I went full nerd mode into that. I understand what it would take to get someone practical results, whether it's weight loss, muscle gain, just academic and performance, a lot of things. Like it's pretty straightforward stuff when it comes to like strength and hypertrophy training. Fat loss, I know functionally how to recreate those results for another person. So that's one thing. Very like straightforward, more tangible thing is like I could give fitness coaching. So like if you wanted to, gain muscle or lose fat or both or whatever, change your body composition to where you look and feel better, I can help you with that. I can do that for free for a limited number of people. I could do that for free and see and help them and get them the results they want or that they're happier with, like get them to a better place. And then, if they really got something good out of it, they can give me a testimonial, and I can use that later on when I start to get more people who are interested in that service, and then I have less time to do it, I don't have the time to fulfill all the orders, and then eventually I would probably start charging some. Like that's just one example. Also, the spiritual coaching, what's that going to actually look like? That's going to look like teaching you practical meditation tips like giving you genuine principles that will help you move forward no matter what tradition you're trying to operate within, or whether you're using psychedelics or you're doing it just sober, or you're Christian, or you're Hindu, or you're Buddhist, or you're even atheist. Like I can give you genuine stuff that, like, I can give you the ways to get yourself to a better place. I can definitely guarantee that. I can guarantee some sort of improvement that you would feel. I think genuinely I can guarantee that. At least if someone would do the coaching, the training, the peer growth, whatever we want to call it, like just me trying to give you some help on getting to a better place spiritually, a place that feels better to you, that you're happier, you're more energetic, you get more stuff done, whatever. Like, I would love to help people in that direction. I also think really that's probably the direction I have the most unique experience in, and the most overall experience in. As far as a service that I could provide to someone, I feel like if it was the right person who had at least a little bit of a background in it, or at least a big interest in developing spiritually, that could make a huge difference in a person's life. Like that sort of one-on-one, um, like training in different ways, and giving different understandings to people, and also, you know, talking to people about what they really want, or what sticking point is making their life, what sticking point is an issue in their life right now. And if there's a spiritual way to ease that, improve that, or change that, which there probably is some way that spirituality could help pretty much whatever problem you have. I mean, overall, that's kind of the beauty of spirituality, is it's supposed to be this sort of like meta solution to suffering in a way. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that could be done in that direction too. Again, same offer goes. I would be totally willing to do that sort of stuff for free. That means call me, message me, video call me, about this type of stuff. You come to me with what you want, or we help develop a picture of what you would want for yourself spiritually, or where you could go, or what practices you'd like to try, and we can get you going on a path that works, I think. And then, of course, fitness, same thing, would work the same way. And then it'd just be a different topic. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess there's other stuff that I would offer coaching for, but those would be like the first two I would like to try. If there's someone out there who's watching this now who would like basically the free trial version, or not even the free, like the full version of probably what I would be charging people for in the future if things go to plan. And I'm not charging because I'm trying to rob people. I'm charging because I'm trying to create value that's like a good deal for people. I want people to buy my services and they're like, man, I paid X amount of money, but holy shit, this was worth way more. This X amount of money. This is like, 4X money or something, fuck. Like, I would want to provide pretty cool and awesome value to people, and I don't know how many clients that would leave room for. I don't even know if I like the word clients, but, like, practically speaking, I mean, it kind of fits. But yeah, people, there's a lot of stuff that they could help with, but yeah, I think fitness and spiritual coaching is probably be the main ones. And then again, there's also the idea of like helping someone with perspectives to promote like mental fortitude, mental resilience, emotional fortitude, emotional resilience, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't want to focus too much on any type of direct like mental illness. Trying to help people with that stuff, because again, like I said earlier on in the video, that's kind of a medical area that people do stuff with. So, and that's kind of the way it's legally set up, at least in my country, in the United States. You're not really supposed to go give mental health advice freely in some way that you're seeming like an expert. Although I've experienced things, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm legally qualified to, be like some therapist or something. And I don't necessarily know if I'd even want to be a therapist. I think like a coach on spirituality and a coach on how people can improve their mindset, how people can just level up their life. Basically, I mean, it could even be a life coaching type thing. I think that would be a cool thing to do. And here's one thing that comes to memory from earlier on in the video. If you happen to watch it all the way through till now, when I did that YouTube coaching, that then like because I didn't have the time for to really put towards the YouTube coaching that I should have had to put toward it, like it transitioned to life coaching, and one of the things he said to me was like, okay, in like the next month or two, you need to create some courses, or like create a course, and also you need to start charging clients for like spiritual development coaching. And he said that I should charge people $400 for 2 months of coaching or something. And so it was basically $200 a month, and it was like you get a free like onboarding call, and he had all these things, and it's like it was kind of similar to the way that he got me to buy his YouTube coaching. A lot of the same like marketing tips and stuff, or it was kind of similar, but it was kind of strange to me. Like I was thinking, man, $400 a month to me, like where I live, I live in kind of a smaller town in the U.S. and stuff, and I'm like, man, I'd feel almost kind of guilty if someone was paying me $400 a month, because I know like there were times where I really could have used like some assistance in my spiritual development process, where like maybe it wasn't even a stable time for me. Maybe I was really getting fucked up in life for a bit, and I didn't have a spare $400 that I could, spend in a stable state of consciousness, a sober state of consciousness, and say was a good purchase for sure. Like, that's a lot to pay for coaching. I paid more than that for his coaching. I paid more than that for Frank's fitness coaching. So I guess at the end of the day, yeah, there are people, they will pay for coaching on stuff. It's a true thing, but it's like, man, I would really want it to be like, okay, someone feels like it's really worth it for them, like that amount of money. But at the same time, I'm considering all this in like a situation where a person is really struggling financially. It's like, yeah, I would almost like down the road, if all this stuff worked out, I would want to like charge basically on an income like scaled way, probably, to where like, okay, if you're completely broke, like totally broke, all right, we'll pretty much do this for free. And if you have like a decent normal job, maybe it'd be like, some amount of money that's like not too huge. And then maybe if someone's like doing really well, it could be like some sort of donation thing where, they can feel free to just keep in mind that I lower prices for people who can't afford it. So if you're balling, maybe throw a little my way. I mean, it'd be cool, right? It'd be cool, of course. Why not? If you're providing value to people and they're throwing a little money your way, I don't see anything wrong with that. I honestly see it's probably worse for the world and myself to like not have something like that going. Like, where that's just the nature of wealth, the nature of abundance as a human. You have to create some sort of value, unless you just luck out, win the lottery, win the parent lottery, you have rich parents or something. Even then, that's not fulfilling. You have to do something with your time. You have to be dedicated to some sort of craft or purpose or path as a human to really live the best way you can, to live the best life you can. You have to have some sort of direction. And it's like, fighting for financial freedom for yourself, to where your basic needs are met and you can do something that you're passionate at, maybe talented at, and you enjoy it, and that's an awesome place to be. I think any really sane person who's thinking about their life seriously should probably want to do something like that, I would think. Like, isn't that kind of what we all want in a way? So yeah, if YouTube can work out in that way, that would be quite optimal for me. But again, it's like, yeah, I want to give the value to people. So, maybe I would create like a course or like a sort of like free version of a course for physique results, and then just release that. Just give out like free information on a lot of this stuff. Give out free articles or something about certain different spiritual practices or techniques, or there could be a whole thing. Create a blog type format, website. I mean, it all could scale up in some crazy direction, of course, right? And there are plenty and plenty of YouTubers day after day who pretty much create that sort of path for themselves. So that's why at the beginning of this video I was like, yeah, maybe maybe I have one of the like easiest cases of hitting YouTube success. I have plenty of the equipment I need. Like, I have my own house. Like no one's gonna interfere with me recording. I don't have like multiple kids or something that like would take a crazy amount of time, or like some newborn kid or something. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things in place, and just having all the experience of doing this for years, picking up little skills along the way, I think it's pretty realistic. Like, if I really commit to this, it will pay off one day or another. Not even monetarily. It's like, I want to do this shit just all the time. I want to do this shit at a high level because I like it. But I can't fucking do that if I have to work as a restaurant manager full time. It makes it a lot harder for that to get scaled to the level I want it to. So, yeah, that's pretty much an hour and 22 minutes of me on my own bullshit talking about it, okay? So, if you enjoyed that, I'm not sure exactly how you did, but it's cool that you did. It's cool that you're here. Go ahead and subscribe, because if you liked this video, you're probably going to like what's coming next. And yeah, just stay tuned, and I apologize for the rambling. See you guys next time.